Hello and welcome to Sound Librarian. I'm Stefan Schutz. The Tomb Raider franchise has been around for a long time, and Tomb Raider 2 is another analysis within this series. Today we're looking at the Tomb Raider Reboot. I wasn't originally going to include this game in this series because I didn't want to focus on too many new games. I wanted the series to cover a broader range of time. The problem is that a lot of the new games that are coming out have got really significant audio. And when I played some of Tomb Raider, I realized I actually can't leave it out of this series for quite a few reasons. Because in general, the audio in the new Tomb Raider game is just simply outstanding. So there are a lot of aspects about this that are worth talking about and analyzing, and that's why we're going to talk about it today. So let's get into Tomb Raider.
What is this place? What happened to you?
This version of Tomb Raider is another of the reboot phenomenon. There have been quite a few franchises. It's happening quite a lot in film and television and in games as well, where they are getting existing IP franchises, intellectual property franchises, and doing new versions of them, bringing them back to life. Battlestar Galactica is a good example of this. And this Tomb Raider is probably worth mentioning in the same concept as the reimagining of Battlestar Galactica, in that they are both exceedingly good executions of an existing property. I was concerned when I'd heard that Tomb Raider was going to be rebooted, because I did like the original one. Tomb Raider 2 I thought was a fantastic game. And unfortunately, sometimes these things don't get done very well. This, however, is just outstanding. This is such an excellent game. They have done such a wonderful job of depicting Lara. She has the perfect balance of, I guess, almost naive innocence combined with an incredible strength. And she goes from being at times vulnerable to at times just being stronger than you could really imagine most people being. So, from the sound point of view, what's going on here? And really, a lot. An awful lot is going on here. This entire opening sequence we're looking at here, going through this entire introduction to Lara's situation and an introduction to Lara as well. You're controlling Lara, but you're being introduced to who she is, what she's capable of, and at the moment, her greatest strength is not her intellect, it's not her strength, it's not her cunning, it is just her resilience. And I have to say that this game, more than any game that I have played, made my blood run cold, made me shiver with discomfort, and made me shudder. The times when Lara, I mean, right at the beginning, when Lara falls down and gets hit by that spike, and all the way through this entire area, I felt uncomfortable. I felt Lara's discomfort. I felt her fear. And this is because of how well crafted this game is. And this is because of how well the sound has been crafted and the music. Rather than a continuous musical soundtrack, there seem to be lots of smaller situational, what I'll call musical stings. Music that plays when it needs to accompany what's going on. And this is exactly what composers do with film scores. But with a film score, they've got a linear thing that is locked to time. Whereas with this one, I suspect that they've got lots of individual things that are queued up, ready to play at the appropriate time. And these are all accompanied with the variety of different sounds, the environmental sounds, which are incredible. This environment through here is just staggering to listen to. So the environmental sounds really bring all of this to life. The voice actor for Lara is just first rate. You feel the pain of the character. You feel the distress. You feel the fear and anxiety. This entire opening scene really feels like somebody who is struggling just to survive, and every step takes real mental and physical effort. Now, one of the other things that is getting more and more common with modern games and with games of this scope, and I have to mention this because it really, really cannot be underestimated. This game has, and it's very evident by playing it, this game has such an unbelievably good mix. And when I say mix, I mean the audio team have taken all of these elements, all the environmental sounds, all the spot sound effects, Lara's dialogue, whether it be just occasional dialogue while she's moving around or actual storylines, the musical cues, the ambience cues, and they've mixed all of these together in such a masterful way that what it gives you is this dynamic environment. And like all good narratives, it's the contrasts that are important. We now get to see the island that we're on, the stunning, stunning visuals of this game.
The lifeboat. Where are they? They must have gone inland.
And we now get the contrast from the loud banging and crashing and screaming of survival to we are alone, we have a very large environment,
Okay.
we are isolated.
Take it slow.
And it's these contrasts from loud and soft, light and dark, that really, really help the entire experience of a game such as this. For 90% of this game, as you're controlling Lara, she is alone.
Okay.
And you really get a sense of that isolation on this island. And again, because of how the sound presents everything. Sometimes with games of this scope, it actually gets a little bit difficult to talk about individual things. I find the music in this engaging and enjoyable. I find the ambient sound effects very effective. But to sit and pull any one of those things out and talk about them in isolation, I think does a bit of a disservice to the whole thing. And I'm not in any way saying that any of the individual elements of this game are not good. Frankly, I think this game is another excellent example of where everything just comes together well, because all the individual elements that were used in the first place were outstanding. I mean, something as simple as this, this is just a little climbing puzzle. But it's all the sounds of things falling apart and moving, etc., that just all blend together so beautifully. This is effectively a tutorial here. But at no point do you lose any of the drama. And this is one of the things I love about the more recent games, is that the tutorials are so seamlessly integrated into the story. You're taught how to play the game, and at no point do you really feel like you're being taken out of the story. So
Sam's pack.
I find that I have to really talk about this as a whole, because this is how we experience it. We experience it as a whole.
Sam! They must have come this way. Sam? Roth? Can anyone hear me? I've got to find them. Okay.
it's important to point out how all of these elements work as a combined whole to bring together this experience of this really, really excellent reimagining of the Tomb Raider franchise.
Looks abandoned.
And so for many reasons, this is a very, very engaging story. More than many other games, I cared a lot about what happened to Lara. I did not play all the way through this game, but I watched somebody who did. And again, it was a good example of the story, the action, and the engagement of this game was sufficient that I could actually view this game as an audience member, not even controlling the character, and still find it enjoyable. That says a lot for a game when it's just as engaging for somebody who's sitting and watching it as it is for somebody who's playing it. I can honestly say that if the entire game industry could reach the bar set by games like Tomb Raider, everybody would be better off. The developers would be better off, the game players would be better off, the experience would be better off. We would all enjoy playing and creating video games so much more. This game is really excellent. Kudos to the whole team for this game. Everything about this experience, how cinematic it was, how it was written, the controls, everything about this experience is just first class. The audio is also first class. So really, 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 this game is something that should be on your list of games to play, whether you're particularly into this genre or not, because it's a game that's worth experiencing. And it really is an experience. It's not just controlling a character and playing a game. There's a rawness to Tomb Raider that at times made me cringe when I almost feel like I'm feeling the discomfort that Lara's going through. I really, really highly recommend checking this game out. And I also really highly recommend that you keep an eye out for more videos. Thanks very much for watching.